everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Rebecca Yusan with Exp Realty, and I'm here with Hristo Georgiev, also with Exp Realty, and he has agreed to allow me to interview him because we want to know all about his real estate experience and how that all got started and where he is now. So Hristo, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. So let's get started. Hristo, tell me how long you've been a realtor and which markets you serve.
So in March, it will be officially 9 years as a licensed realtor. I actually started investing in 2008. So going on 14 years on the investing side. I got my license actually to be a better investor. And from there, it just kind of took a life of its own. I'm in the Michigan marketplace just outside of Detroit. So I serve Oakland County, Wayne County, Macomb County, a couple other surrounding ones, maybe for friends and family. I try not to go too far out, as there's plenty of work to keep me busy in those three counties. And almost 10 years as a licensed agent. Serving the retail side.
I love it. Okay. So you became a realtor so you could become a better investor. So what led you to become an investor?
Kind of by chance, actually. So I was working for a software development company right out of high school. I thought that's my dream job. I always had the passion for computers, built my first one when I was around 11 years old. So I got to do that, got to experience something that, appealed to me greatly. And as the real estate market was collapsing, my parents drove by a house in our city and they're like, I can't believe that house is $70,000. So like, wait a minute, there's a house in our city for $70,000. Like, I think I can afford that. And then from there, that one was sold. I called on it. It was pending, but we got in touch with a realtor. Started looking for properties. So I purchased my first rental when I was 21 years old. I understood passive income. I understood multiple streams of income. So I stayed at my job and just, again, began to learn more about investing in real estate. And I knew that I would ultimately get my license one day so I could be a better investor. I just didn't realize that I could take the classes online. So I thought I had to take like a vacation to go do the real estate classes. So that held me back for a little bit longer, I guess 5 more years. But once I found out, basically I got my license, and that was the main reason. I just wanted to be able to write my own contracts. I wanted access to the MLS. I wanted to be able to speak the language, communicate with fellow realtors, obviously benefit from saving on commissions when purchasing, benefit from saving on commissions when selling. So just a lot of kind of benefits to being a realtor on the investor side. And as I mentioned, since then, I just, I've done some business, started with referrals here and there. And now, we get to do a couple million plus a year on the retail side as well, along with what we're doing on the investing side.
That's awesome. So you're really developing your multiple streams of income.
Absolutely.
So many agents that are my age say, I wish I would have known about this when I was your age at 21. So that's really impressive that you had the foresight and you just knew that that's where you needed to go to have a big life. So good for you. That's great. So back in your first year of real estate, tell me what that was like. Like, how did you learn how to do showings and get clients, and how did you get going?
So I think I was fortunate enough to, again, have worked with realtors who had taken me on some showings to see how that looked. And I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that I was seeing it from people doing it at the highest level or doing it the best way possible. So when I got my license, I wasn't at a brokerage or an office that offered, I think, the hands-on training that I have now discovered that some offices and some brokerages do offer. So really, I was just out on my own. I was showing houses that, kind of based on what I felt, what I thought felt natural, and what I thought were the key points. And again, what was important to me to a certain degree as an investor, because I had seen hundreds of houses before I ever walked into one as a realtor. So Yeah, my first 4 years really, and I don't know if I could name drop the brokerage. I was at a big franchise, Century 21. If it needs to be edited out, we can edit that out. But again, nothing against the company.
No.
I wasn't at a place where, again, it was. What I know now is that there's much better compensation plans, much better setup. So in that particular environment, I did a lot of learning on my own. So having to do a lot of things the hard way. It wasn't a lot of support, a lot of training available to the agent. So again, first year, I was blessed. As soon as I got my license, I had, I think I did 6 transactions my first 6 months, all referral deals. I didn't know about cold calling. I didn't know about lead generating, prospecting until I actually go to the other brokers that I was recruited to 4 years into my career. So for me, it was okay. Again, I was blessed. I did enough business on the investing side. I was fortunate enough. I had some referrals, so it wasn't one of these nightmare stories where no deals or anything like that. No, I had some business. However, I didn't necessarily have the training or the support that I could have benefited from, and I probably could have done twice that volume, or learned some of these things a lot quicker if there were kind of mentor figures and coaches earlier on, which I'm blessed to have quite a few of those around me now. So
you do have a lot of those now.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So in that first year, did you have to have another job to support yourself?
So actually, I guess, yeah, you could say that. My brother-in-law has a roofing business. So on weekends, I'd go roof with him. And while doing, after being licensed, we had a few projects. We were doing, obviously, flipping houses. I did some wholesales even at that time. So basically, I guess if you want to call that an additional job, yeah, we were doing some work to the houses. I was doing a few, I guess, side construction projects here and there. So yeah, you could say that. And again, I'm big on multiple streams of income. So whether it's kind of job or different projects, just to kind of generate additional income, I'm always open to that. But definitely those first years, I think it was a lot more hands-on projects and kind of the manual labor, which it appeals to me. I mean, I don't mind my suit, but I joke, I have this suit, I have a paint suit, I have, some dirtier clothes. I do rehab when we do rehab the houses in. So I absolutely don't mind rolling up the sleeves. And again, we were fortunate enough to be doing things and developing, I think, even skills that, now we've done a few roofs on our rental property. So it's my brother-in-law and I, and again, we're just getting the benefit from some of these skills that we have and, kind of developed along the way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So you basically took your skills that you already have and just made the best of everything and you just did what you had to do to get going. So I love that for sure.
Thank you.
So this business can be very up and down. You think you have something going and then at the last minute, everything falls apart. So I lots of times say it's manic depressant business. So has there ever been a time that you wanted to quit?
Quit? No, I've definitely had a few challenges. Even on the investing side, I have a story. The last property I purchased with an agent before I got my license to represent myself, bought on a quitclaim deed. Didn't know enough about quitclaim deeds to realize what I'm purchasing. So I bought a property with 2 liens for $100,000. So the property cost me 18 grand. I was selling it for I think around like 40 grand. So and then I find out during that title process that it's 100 grand. So very tough challenge. Basically, I was told I had 2 options. I found a third option that ended up working. I got one of the largest lenders in the country to quitclaim deed two liens back to me. So again, it was a long process. It was an incredible challenge, and while going through it, it wasn't fun, it wasn't pleasant. However, I knew that at the end of the day, I mean, I hit a few brick walls there. We just had to figure out how do we get through them, how we go around them, how we go beyond them, or whatever the situation. So that was a really nice test, and that happened pretty early on. So I think that was 2014, and just it was a great test. I mean, I saw it for what it was, and ultimately, I believe in God. So it was God saying, "Hey, these are some of the things you may deal with here. If you're not going to be okay with that, then go, find yourself a nice comfy job in the office or whatever you want to do. But these are some of the challenges you're going to have here." So we overcame that. That was on the investing side. This is maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. On the retail side, I had a series of very challenging deals. It was 2 or 3 deals where, we got through, and then it's just like, man, am I doomed? Am I cursed to have these? And, like just a little frustration. And I had a moment of clarity. I mean, almost an epiphany. It's like, I'm not doomed. I'm not cursed. God is sending me these people because he trusts that, I'm patient enough. I'm capable. I'm tough enough to help them get through. Because yeah, there's some people who everything, paperwork, employment, everything's in order. It's an easy process from offer to closing. And there's some people who may need a little bit more hand holding, who may need a little bit of kind of care and patience. So that's how I took it. I was like, well, I'm not cursed. I'm not doomed. These are some of the people, but I've absolutely experienced challenges. I don't think this is necessarily an easy business to be in. I don't think it's for everybody, and statistically that shows. I mean, we have one of the largest revolving doors. 8 to 9 out of 10 people who get their license won't be licensed within 5 years. So I think it speaks for itself. I mean, the fact that it's so lucrative, and for the people who do go on to succeed, and the people who are persistent and committed enough to reap the benefits of being in this industry long term, I think that makes it look very appealing to everybody kind of on the sidelines. And I think, oh, you just get your license, you go put some signs in front of houses, you start making some money. That's not the case. However, for those of us who overcome the challenges, and for those of us who feel that this is home, this is where we need to be again, this is where our purpose is, this is where our passion lies, and I think all the challenges and anything that comes our way, we can overcome it. And it's just life. Life is challenging at times. So whatever we're doing, I think there's going to be moments and situations where life may make you feel like your back's against the wall, or but I don't believe in quitting, and this is not something that, again, I know that it's the right industry for me, both on the investing side. I love what I do on the retail side. Now with the team building aspect, it's incredible, and what we get to do here. So no, and for the people who are having some of those thoughts, I say just keep pushing. It's definitely, it's an industry where it takes persistence, and again, because it's not instant gratification, and what we do today, we may not see the result for 30, 60, 90 days, and maybe even longer, depending on the situation. I think that can be challenging for a lot of people. So I've had my share of tests. I don't think, I've seen necessarily the greatest challenges or whatever it is. And I think this industry is going to present other challenges. But for me, I already know that this is where I need to be. I understand it as a wealth building vehicle, and what I can do again through the ownership of real estate, not just the sales and the retail side of it. So I don't foresee myself ever exiting either the investing space or being a licensed realtor. So I mean, it's just too great of a benefit for what I'm doing to maintain my license and to continue to serve the public and my clients on the retail side as well.
Yeah, so you definitely see a bigger picture even than what you have right now. You see that there's even more for you?
I would say so, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a lot of people know right now, if you don't know this, I don't know where you've been, but we have low inventory right now, and it's a real struggle for buyers. So tell me what challenges you're facing right now because of this market.
I think a lot of the same things. So I have a few buyers. We are just, as soon as something pops up, we're making sure we're scheduling. We've written a couple offers on things, and we're just getting beat. And a few of them, we're writing offers as strong as they possibly can, kind of at the top of their budget. So it's frustrating. And I think it's frustrating for the buyer. For you and I, as the professionals and seeing this every day, it's easier to understand when we realize that, hey, these are historically low inventories. This is, it's crazy, right? Like the people that I speak with, nobody has seen anything like this. So it's easier for you and I to understand, and kind of communicating and educating the buyer. That can be, I think, a little bit of a challenge. And so that in and of itself, just, this complete lack of inventory, but it's not unique. I'm not experiencing, I don't think, anything that nobody else is seeing. However, at the same time, that doesn't mean that people aren't still buying homes, selling homes. So we just have to, and it's this, I've heard it 1,000 times, I've read it 1,000 times. So again, there's always homes being sold and bought. It's just a matter of shifting strategy. So certain things that work in the market 5-10 years ago aren't going to work today. So we're seeing all these crazy offers with, appraisal waivers, appraisal bridges. Something I personally don't recommend, but waiving inspections. Just it's an entirely different market. As far as I think, I'm not sure if you asked this part. I'm looking at the next question. So the outlook of the market, honestly.
Yeah, definitely curious to know what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, as far as my outlook, so we know that the interest rate is rising. We've already seen it start to jump up. So that just, if that continues, we know that that's going to eliminate some buyers out of the buyer pool. So simply, again, just less buyers means less competition. So less the sellers have less potential offers coming in. So I think that could naturally cause a potential slowdown in the market. However, I was at a seminar at the end of 2018 where that was the theme, how to thrive in a shifting market, because we were talking about the exact same thing here. We were expecting that in 2019, the interest rate will go up, which would literally create the same scenario, right? It would limit the amount of buyers. So somebody who could potentially afford a house today with the current rates will not be able to. Maybe if their mortgage goes up $100, $200, people on fixed income don't know how and can't get an extra $200 a month if all of a sudden now that same house is going to cost them that much more. So the reality is, if these factors do in fact come into play, which we are seeing that is the case, the interest rate is starting to trend upwards. We think it's going to go higher. So a lot of folks who, again, are kind of on that edge and they can afford it today because the rate is so low, they won't be able to. So some of these buyers leaving the buyer pool, again, less buyers, less competition. This means that the sellers, again, won't continue to get these incredible appreciating prices, and there won't be, again, these highest and best. But that's just if this continues. If we see another halt in the interest rate, or maybe again another surprise going back down, and I think we'll continue to see this crazy market. But for us as agents, I think it's important to just, again, know what we need to do in order to get business in whatever the market is. And it's just, you got to be out there. You have to be hustling. You have to be working. You have to, be making your calls, or whatever the method of lead generation is. I know we live in a world where it's not necessarily the old traditional way of prospecting and just cold calling. I mean, social media is an incredible tool. These video apps and all these tools. I mean, the next generation of buyers and sellers, that's where they are. So if we can figure out how to harness that, I think we'll be okay. The economy as a whole obviously plays a major role into our market. I think the world is at a very interesting place. There's a lot of stuff going on at home, abroad, locally, again, just on the other side of the border, north of us, so I think there's a lot of things that can happen that can, just change whatever the trajectory or the course is. But at the end of the day, I think naturally that if the interest rate continues to rise, we are going to see a little bit of a slowdown in the market, simply because less people will be able to afford a home with higher interest rates and higher monthly payments. Yeah. But we're going to be okay. Again, I think for those of us who have been around long enough to at least figure out how to get business, how to go out there and serve our clients, we're going to be okay. Well, we may have to adjust, shift a little bit. And the reality is, again, if certain streams of business are kind of drying up or not necessarily flowing at the rate they were, this is why we get back to, again, it's good to have multiple streams of income. It's important not to rely on just one source of business. It's important. And again, I'm really big on figuring out how do we serve the same client and provide more value to them, solve more problems for them, so where we can potentially generate more from working with the same client. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
I love it. I totally agree with all of that. So yep. Awesome. Okay, so when I first got started into real estate, I thought I knew a lot, but I really didn't. So when I am helping new agents now, I always tell them, you don't even know what you don't even know.
Yeah,
so you're going to figure that out, and sometimes it's going to be painful. So when you're not with your first brokerage anymore, but when you were trying to figure out which brokerage to go with, how did you figure that out? How did that happen?
So as I mentioned, I was already working somewhere. Every day on my way to work, I would drive by like multiple real estate brokerages. A few of them were in shopping plazas, like big kind of parking lots and everything. A few were in like office building complexes. And then there was this one, Century 21 standalone, beautiful white building just by itself, nice big sign. So I was like, okay, that's the one I'll go to. So when I was ready to start, taking the classes and all this stuff, on one of my lunch breaks, I actually stopped at that office just to chat with somebody and say, hey, okay, I'm interested in getting my license. Basically, what do I do next? So the broker sat down with me, and I'm sure he's super excited to have, somebody walk in the door and say, hi, I want to get licensed, and, let me make you some money.
So you strictly chose your brokerage on curb appeal?
At 100%. Yeah. It just looked like the nicest building. It just looked like they're doing something right here. And here's the funny thing, and then he starts explaining. He's like, okay, so you're going to pay for the licensing class. You got to pay board fees. You got to pay MLS fees. And then there's this, monthly fee, whatever they had there. And then he's like, it's 50-50 split. We have a royalty fee too that never goes away. And at first I'm like slapping a face. I'm like, whoa, there's all these thousands of dollars, which again, I'm okay with it. Just like, people go to college, spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars, get a piece of paper, and then they practice whatever it is that they went to school generally. So I get it. Just like any other business, there's an investment. And the reality is, I think this is one of the lowest cost kind of thresholds for a business where you can have unlimited income. But the point being is, I sat down with him. He basically told me, here's what you need to do. You can come back and, you can work for me, obviously, which is incredibly exciting. That's what brokers want. Brokers want new agents. They want talent. And for somebody to just walk in, off the street, it's about as good as it gets for them. It's, it costs them $0 to basically recruit me. So, yeah. I started there. Like I said, I didn't know enough about commissions. I knew that's what I understood agents earn. I knew that agents had one source of income. They sell a house, commission. You work with the buyer, commission. You work with renters, whatever the case is. As real estate agents, I understood that was basically the only source of income, just earning a commission. So I was still focusing on the investing side. He was giving me a break on my commission when I was listing or buying my own property. So I thought I was doing okay. I was doing some business, as I mentioned, on the side. So it didn't really occur to me that I'm giving away way more than I should be, since none of that business was generated by the brokerage or anything like that. It was strictly 100% people who knew me. They had real estate needs. They chose to work with me. I could have been at any brokerage in the world. They still would have worked with me. And here I was giving 50% away of my commission. And excuse me, I believe 58 actually, because there was an 8% royalty fee there that never went away. So and I didn't know better. I thought that that's what all these other brokerages are charging. I thought it's a 50-50 split. Not the case.
But so you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yep.
And then you found out. Mm-hmm. So you say you didn't get a lot of training when you first started, but I wonder, is that partially because now you know how to access so much training, or was there any kind of a class or a book or anything that you were given to learn how to write a contract, how to negotiate? Was there anything you were given by your brokerage?
No. And again, it's a franchise. So there were some agents in there who were doing maybe in like 5 to 7. I think the top producer was doing under $10 million there. So I had a few agents who I guess I could go to, and when I had a question, and I did, I had one of the top producers answer a few of my questions. When I wrote my first listing agreement ever, it was for my older sister's condo. So I remember sitting down with him, I was like, look, this is very important. Like, please make sure I just wrote this correctly. So he sat down, looked it over. It's like, yep, it looks good. So we listed it. And but no, I haven't necessarily. There was like a weekly meeting, but nothing, no kind of designated classes. And when I went to this other brokerage, after that I was recruited, and my mind was blown just because there was training. And it's a brokerage that a lot of agents have gone through and been trained at. And I'm blessed to be at another brokerage now where all those coaches and trainers are actually here with us now too. So that's pretty awesome. But
all the cream rises to the top, right?
There you go.
So I don't think a lot of people realize this, but as your real estate career evolves, your role in real estate changes. What is your role now compared to when you first started? Like, what's your focus every day?
It's a good question, and still, obviously, I still work with some folks on the retail side. And this is interesting because I'm actually at the first brokerage where I'm incentivized to sell real estate. I was just telling this to somebody. So when I was at Century 21, I never really cared to sell a bunch of houses on the retail side of it. When I was at Keller Williams, which is the second brokerage that recruited me, I never really cared to sell 30, 40 houses with Keller on the retail side. I mean, I cared about owning 30, 40 houses, owning 100 houses. So that's where my interest has always been. And now that I'm at Exp Realty, I'm actually incentivized to sell real estate thanks to our ICON program. I think it's one of the most incredible things in real estate. So now I have an incentive to actually go out there and serve a lot of people on the retail side. So I've never seen an award like this. I've never seen anything like this offered to the agent. So genuinely, just because of that, now I'm going to make a greater effort. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to cold call. I'm going to lead generate. I'm going to prospect just so I can accomplish this and show to other agents that, hey, look, this is possible. Selling a bunch of real estate was never necessarily my focus. Again, I'll say this all day. I'm an investor. That's what brought me into this industry. I love what I do on the retail side. However, I was more than happy just serving the people who knew me purely from referral basis. I mean, up to this point, I haven't really had to make outbound calls to generate business. So far, I've been blessed. Again, I've done enough business with some folks who are happy to refer people. So that's my point. But as far as that evolution, now I have something, I have an incentive, I have a reason to actually grow my retail side of the business and go out there. And it's not even, oh, I just want the award. And by the way, this is way bigger than just that beautiful glass award they give us, $16,000 in company stock, which I think is, again, just an incredible incentive. So as far as how my business has evolved, we are still growing the investment portfolio. I think I mentioned this to you while we were in Florida. My sister and I, who you had a chance of meeting, she's a fellow real estate agent here at EXP. So we're going to be closing on a duplex here in a couple of weeks. So we're growing the portfolio. It's my first one officially. So I'm super thrilled. And we have we're also making an effort and focusing on building the team. Of course, what we have here with EXP, this opportunity to build global teams, which most people, I think it takes them a second to wrap their head around, myself included, just because traditionally the only team you could ever build is geographically confined. So if you're fortunate enough to be in a big market where I'm in Detroit. I think there's 20,000 plus agents in our area here. So that's awesome. I can start a team, I can start a brokerage, and if my value proposition is strong enough, I can attract some agents so I can leverage. However, nobody up until EXP comes along has had this global leverage where for $149 you can join this company and you can start building a team, whether it's in your local market here in Michigan or business partners in Canada or Mexico or any of these other countries that we're opening up. So that's a big part of the evolution. And again, understanding passive streams of income, this residual form of income that's available here through simply building teams. So it's mind-blowing. It really is. It's an entirely different way. And as I mentioned at the beginning, going into this industry, getting my license, I understood the agent to have one compensation, just the commission. So the fact that there's a company out here that allows me to do the exact same thing that I was doing at Century 21, same thing I was doing at Keller Williams, same thing I would do if I was at Berkshire, if I was a Coldwell banker, if I was at a local mom and pop, the same thing I would do if I opened my own brokerage and I was getting 100% of my own labor, which I can get 100% at EXP, by the way. Once we get 100%.
Yeah.
But the point is that the business selling real estate is the same. It's just the model of this and what we're doing. Again, the evolution, it's now growing a global team. So that's a big part of what we're doing. Again, EXP is changing my life. It's changing my family's life. As I mentioned, my sister's already in the business. She's 19 years old, going to be 20 on Friday here. And she has a downline and business partners. I think 5 people already in her organization, a few more taking the test. So this is incredible. We can't do this anywhere else. So again, this is basically what we're working on now. We're still going to serve the public. We're still happy to work with buyers, sellers, investors, landlords. However, we're more than happy to continue building relationships with fellow agents and just opening their eyes to what's available. Because I was that agent at one point. As I mentioned, I was very eager to get in here, thinking I knew enough to, get started and whatnot, which I did. I got in here. I bumped my head against the wall more times than I should have. And again, it goes back to not having mentors, not having coaches. But this is the beauty of coming over to a company where you have people who are financially invested in you. So they're eager to help you grow. And as I win, they win. So wait a minute, who do you think wants me to win at a very high level? All of my business partners, the people who are financially invested in me, they want me to win at the highest possible level. So it's incredible to have these sort of people beside you and pushing you and wanting you to grow. So truly, I'm just incredibly excited about what's to come. And as this thing continues to grow, ultimately, the evolution is build out the portfolio and continue to build, the EXP organization.
Yeah. And I just have to say, your success does not have any direct impact on my success or my future, but the culture of this company is we get to be excited for our partners. Mm-hmm. And I love all these people that I'm meeting. I get to watch you and your sister and your whole team succeed. And I get to celebrate that because I can just be excited, and I don't have to be jealous because we all know there's plenty of business to go around. And if we work together, the sky is the limit. So I'm thankful for that.
Same. No, really. And you hit it right on. I mean, right on the head. It's this collaboration. I haven't seen anything like this. And it's incredible. People from different marketplaces, people from the same marketplaces, are collaborating, sharing ideas, and it's a beautiful thing. And again, I think we briefly touched on this, but I think EXP is going to continue to attract talent. It's going to continue to attract good people who again are more than happy with others winning, and it's an abundance mindset, right? So if you operate from a scarcity mindset, you might think, oh well, they're going to take my business, they're going to take my agent. We just crossed over 75,000 agents today. I saw the announcement. So with the mission of having 500,000 in the next 5 years, I mean, there's no shortage of agents here. So I love it. I love this collaboration. And as far as business goes, I mean, we know that there's homes being sold. As long as you're out there, as long as you're calling, lead generating, however you generate your business, as long as you're doing those activities, you're going to get business. So I love it. And again, I love this sharing of information, this collaboration. So I'm with you there 100%.
Yeah. You've been telling us about your niches and what you enjoy doing, but I want to know, there are some days that you do things that you like better than others. Okay. So on those days that you wake up and you're so excited that you get to do X for that day, what is that X that you just can't wait to get out of bed for?
I guess it's a variety of things. I do like for example, on Sunday I went, met with a seller. Actually, for that duplex, we had some documents to sign. So that was awesome for me. I love going out there, meeting, getting deals under contract. I like this team building stuff. It really is. It's very exciting. We just had a new gentleman come on board last week. He's already bringing an agent to come talk to us tomorrow. So that's really exciting. And I realize how that affects my life, and I understand, the downline and all that. However, the truly rewarding part is watching it click for somebody else. And the gentleman that just joined my team, I met him through Instagram. I had invited him to a few events, and just, I kept inviting. And when he met me at my office. He came there, and then that's all it took. I mean, he saw what we were doing. He saw when we explained to him a little bit about the structure. We explained to him the additional streams of revenue that are available here, and it clicked, right? So the next time we met, he was basically ready to onboard. We onboard him. He looks me in the eyes and says, "Thank you for inviting me here." that's the most rewarding thing in the world. I kid you not. Like, I haven't made a penny off of that, by the way, because again, he's joined until he sells. I don't, the way this all works, right? So I don't want people thinking, well, he joined, I got paid some sign-up bonus. No, this gentleman just onboarded. He's starting his, journey with the XP, and it's the most incredible thing. So I think really that's probably one of the most exciting things to look forward. And again, I know how that benefits me. I know what that means in my downline and having an additional person, and how awesome and incredible that is for me. And it's humbling, it's rewarding, for somebody to choose me. But when you see that in their eyes, and when you realize that that's what we're doing, we're sharing an opportunity with people that ultimately changes lives. And this is what's so incredible here. This is way bigger than real estate. And yeah, we're going to sell real estate. We're going to go out there. We're going to serve the public. However, we're changing our fellow agents' lives. So I think out of stuff that I get to do with my rentals and all these things, that's probably my favorite thing right now. Is just really helping people see that. And then when you see a click for them, or when they thank you for inviting them, it's incredible.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to know the typical day for Hristo. What does that look like?
Okay. So I've been working on, this is implementing this. This is a big part of my morning routine. Hallel rods, the miracle morning. And I strive to start all my days. I'm not perfect. However, I do strive to start my days with it. So it's the savers. I don't always do all 6. I'll just briefly go over them. So savers, S for silence or meditation, A for affirmations, V for visualization, E for exercise, R for reading, S for scribing or journaling. So this gentleman, basically, he studied some of the most successful people, and he realized that everybody had some sort of morning routine, did a few things. So he's like, well, this person does that, this person does that. So he just mashed them all together and does them for an hour before. So that's how I like to start my day. I watch a lot of motivational stuff. So I've seen a lot of it already. I've realized some of it I know by heart, but I'm still watching, still filling my mind with that. Typical day, again, for me, this is, I think, probably what I love the most about this industry is I don't have typical days. I live by calendars, schedules, to-do lists. So I'm absolutely, I rely on that heavily. And I plan to a degree, but I don't have my Tuesdays. They don't look the same from this Tuesday to next Tuesday, this Wednesday to next Wednesday. I mean, it's different things, which I think I love that the most. And at the end of the day, everything I'm doing is to buy my freedom back. So this whole portfolio I'm building, this, what I do. And I think everybody, right? At the end of the day, we all work to be able to pay the bills, to be able to create some sort of lifestyle. But beyond that, I want freedom. I want financial freedom for myself, for my family. And just last Thursday, I spent the bulk of the day with my grandma when we were at the doctor's, and we did some shopping, and I took her home. So if I was working a traditional 9-to-5 job, or, if I had the typical days that most people have, I don't think I'd be able to do that. So typical day for me is choosing my schedule. And again, that doesn't mean that I don't work on my clients' time. I think a lot of people misinterpret that, and they think just because we're in real estate, I get to choose all. No, I'm still at the mercy, if I may say that, of my clients, and I have clients who can only see homes after working hours. So that means I have to be available 5 to 7 to 8 p.m. So that's fine too. But the reality is that my days are flexible. I know what I'm focusing on. I know what I'm building. But at the same time, it's never really the same, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great, because you just answered my whole next question. So we're going to skip that one.
Yeah.
So tell me what your personality is and how you think that impacts your business.
Okay. It's an interesting one. I love people. I think I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I love life. Again, I've seen enough of life to understand it's full of challenges. It's hard at times. However, at the same time, I'm a firm believer that most problems can be solved, can be overcome, and I just approach things from a problem-solving mentality. And again, it's not even, I can't take full credit, like I stumbled across this myself. No, it was in books I've read, it was in videos I've watched. It's just, I think that's just the best approach. So I think a lot of people maybe recognize that and sense that, and I know that even if it gets challenging, I'm okay with rolling up the sleeves and going above and beyond. So and I don't know. I think despite, and I'm like everybody else, right? I mean, I think people have anxieties, all these things. And I was telling my sister, even at the conference, and I was like, don't be fooled here. Just because I'm going up to people and introducing myself to random strangers, is like, I'm nervous too, right? At the end of the day. So, I just
never would have known that when we met. You just
yeah.
went right in and met all of us, and it was like we had known each other forever. So good job.
Well, thank you. And again, it's effort, and you see what's possible, right? When you step out of your comfort zone. I mean, obviously, you meet awesome people, you make great connections. So, if I'm not willing to do that, it's very easy. I could have just sat there. And it's funny, I work with a gentleman, Mark Z. So he says that he's like, look, I'm an introvert. At the end of the day, if I could, I would just any event, just hang out by myself. So to a degree, I experienced that a little bit. It's just, I realized with what we're doing, it's important, obviously, to connect with people. And I love, I know I get this from my mom. She always used to say, she's like, it's incredible. Everybody has their own story, their own life, their own struggles, their own joys and stuff. And I get to understand that to a degree, right? So no, I can't possibly understand everything everyone's going through, but I do realize that, again, everybody has their story. Everybody has something they're contributing to this world, something that, that they're yearning for, that they want to learn to. So I maybe that's what, again, I want to be human, and I strive to be as human as possible. Again, whether I'm having a good day, bad day, I realize that how I treat people, my interaction with people can affect their day and, the impact I have on them. So I just strive, to be happy and to bring joy to people's lives. And again, not necessarily from a joker standpoint. I mean, I take what I do very seriously. I realize we are helping people with the largest transaction in their lives. Some people are going through a lot of things in their lives while that's happening. Moves aren't easy. Some of these moves are caused by, again, job losses, relocations, losses in family, divorces, all sorts of challenges. So it can be challenging, again, to approach some of these things with an upbeat attitude and, have a giant smile on your face while helping some of these folks with some of these very, very tough situations. However, I think that's part of the reward, is being able to, be a force of good and a source of light for some of these folks during some of these things. So,
So have you taken the DISC profile assessment?
I think I've done it. I can't remember if it was like on a website or how I would have done it, but I want to say yes. I don't remember.
Results were. Have you ever taken a profile assessment?
I want to say I have, but again, I don't have like a recollection of like printing results or something like that.
Okay.
So.
Well, I would like for you to take one and tell me what comes up, because
Okay.
I have my opinion of what I think you would test, but now that you just told me all of that, I think I might be wrong.
Okay.
So I definitely want you to take one.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta find a link. I think Tony Robbins has one.
He does. Yep.
Okay.
Take it on Tony Robbins' website and then report back to me. That's your homework.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So you mentioned that you love helping realtors hit their goals and have success. So what advice do you have for a brand new agent or someone considering being an agent?
Do it. If you're considering a career in real estate, do it. 100%. The worst thing that could happen is you realize it's not for you, and then you can go on and pursue something that you're passionate about or something you can have more joy in. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the lowest entry costs to have a business, in a business of this kind of magnitude, right? Because there is no limit to the income that you can generate in this industry. There's no, and especially, again, not just to talk about EXP, but with a company like EXP, there is no boundaries anymore. So you can build global organization. It costs, again, let's say in the state of Michigan, our annual cost, your first year in business is going to be about $3,000 required cost. That includes your school, your board, your first year of fees, even let's say for a brokerage at EXP. Costs $149 to become a part of EXP. that is an incredibly low threshold, low cost to start a business. If you want to open a brick and mortar business, I mean, you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars, leases, all these complications here. Do it. If you're considering, if you're even just slightly, there's passion, you want to go show houses, whatever it is, the worst thing that can happen is you realize it's not for you, and that's fine. And, if you invested $3,000 to find out that real estate is not for you, that's okay. Then go do whatever you're happy about. Don't waste your whole life thinking, well, I should have done it, I could have done it, I would have done it. And then, 30, 40 years down the road, you're regretting not doing it. So this is truly, it's a life-changing industry for the people who apply themselves. And the nice thing about it, by the way, is you don't have to be born with special talents or, again, certain body features or body types or anything like that. The reality is every skill here can be learned. This isn't necessarily the NBA where height advantage can boost you, or this isn't something like, brain surgery or even violin players where you have to have, perfect, steady hands or something like that. No, this is every skill required here can be learned and it can be improved. So just do it. New agents, mentors or coaches, and so anybody considering it, I guess this applies to them too. Do it, and then once you've gotten your license, I encourage people to either plug into a team or make sure that you're with a brokerage that offers adequate training and support, that you have mentorship. And again, the way our company is structured, I have 7 people financially invested in me, so that's a little bit different than just having, let's say, 7 admin staff at a brokerage. Is the broker there is the only person financially invested in you. So technically that's kind of one of the only people that really cares about you. So me having 7 people financially invested in me means that 7 people who win when I win. Back to what I said earlier, guess who wants me to win very, very badly? Yeah. All those people. So awesome. I think that's important. If you're new, you want to plug into somewhere where, again, you're going to get that sort of support, where you're going to have people who actually care about your success. But just do it. It's an incredible industry.
For sure. So we all know that you're with Exp Realty, obviously. Mm-hmm. Tell me how long you've been with Exp and how that decision or that even came about. Like, I want to know what was surrounding that event of coming to Exp.
So, in 2017, I was recruited to Keller Williams. I sat down with the team leader of, at the time, what was probably one of the largest Keller Williams offices here in Michigan. And basically, the training and the support is what really appealed to me. I had none where I was coming from. And then he said profit share. And to me, it was mind-blowing because, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't aware of any additional streams for the agent other than just the commission. So that was a pretty mind-blowing concept. So again, I was like, well, this is pretty awesome. This is an additional stream of income to do something kind of in an industry that we're already working in. And then in 2018, I was invited to an Exp Mastermind with Mr. Brent Gove himself. And I thought it was mind-blowing. It really was. I was like, wow, my days at Keller Williams are numbered. I actually knew exactly how many days I had to stay to be vested at Keller Williams. So if I wanted a profit share there. So that's ultimately what happened. I saw Exp. I knew I would eventually go there. I understood how Keller Williams profit share worked. So I figured, hey, I'll get vested, which God's timing. I'm glad I didn't join Exp at the time, because the team and the people that whose organization I'm part of now, they were not in there yet. So basically, I'm not saying that the organization I would have joined at the time wouldn't have benefited me. It's just, it works out very well. Again, the people I'm partnering with, they're literally in my backyard. Their office is 15 minutes from mine. So that's where we're kind of building out of. But yeah, the first time I saw Exp, I understood it. I knew the value. I had, some questions, of course. One of my concerns was, well, if it's just a cloud-based brokerage and no offices, that could maybe be challenging for newer agents. And then I realized we have more offices and some of the nicer offices in the industry. And again, because some of these mega teams and, there's offices that are being opened specifically for us, just Exp agents. So it just made a lot of sense. And I joined officially 2020, at the end of 2020. And it's been the greatest decision I've made as far as the retail side of real estate goes. Again, what we're able to do here, I've made more money doing the exact same thing I would have done at Century 21, the same thing I would have done at Keller Williams. I'm just compensated in more ways and better to do the exact same thing. So for me, it's a no-brainer. This isn't a sales pitch about EXP, although we are incentivized to help grow this company. How incredible is that? So nobody is paying me to do this. It's just you and I. We understand that by sharing this vital and incredibly important information, because I think most agents and most people who see this would agree that it's good for us to know that one company will pay you this to do that, and then there's another company that will pay you for doing the exact same thing, a better commission and multiple additional ways to get paid. I mean, people need to know about that, right? Like I feel like that's information that needs to be shared with people. And the fact that, again, that EXP is going to potentially reward us for sharing that information, that's pretty awesome.
For sure. So since joining EXP, is there any aspect or part of your life that's different now?
Like I said, now there is a bit more of a focus on building the team. So again, this reward that we get from seeing people experience EXP and be a part of this, and have these additional streams of revenue opened up to them, it's incredible. So yeah, I mean, just best decision I've ever made, honestly, and just from a financial standpoint, from a human and personal development standpoint, I don't think I could get, again, personally, I don't think I could derive the value from any other brokerage that we have here at EXP.
Yeah. So basically what I am hearing through this whole thing is what EXP has offered you is like the match to your fuel. It's just like, boom, it's just exploded. Everything you've done so far, because of what you're getting now, and there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So what do you think the outlook is for EXP as a company?
I think we've assembled some of the best leaders in this company or in this industry already. I think, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to continue to attract talent. I think we're going to continue to attract people who do real estate at a very high level, people who want to serve at a very high level. I think this is just the beginning. We're 75,000 agents strong, and I think there's a lot of people who haven't even looked at this thing yet, and it shows, because as people look at this thing, it's a very easy decision for most of us. If you have any sort of basic business understanding, it doesn't make sense to be an agent at any of these other brokerages. This is how simple it should be. It is a waste of our time as real estate agents to go serve brokers who want to leverage us and offer us no leverage. This is it. EXP offers the agent leverage for $149. I have global leverage. This is incredible. So this isn't the traditional starting a team and taking additional overhead, additional liability. This isn't opening a brokerage or spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a franchise. I am a real estate agent. I don't even have a broker's license, and I have agents in Michigan. I have agents in other states. We have talking to some agents in other countries. So this is, again, what we're talking about. As far as the outlook of this company, it's going to continue to grow, because more and more of us, people like you and I, good people who want to do good business, who want to serve our clients at the highest level, and who are okay with putting in a little bit of time to share this incredible message with other agents, we're going to continue to spread the good word of this company. We're going to continue to grow it. And so long as its value proposition is this strong, because at the end of the day, this is why we're here. This is the best value proposition for me as an agent that I have seen and that I think is available. And being somebody who didn't even realize that there's additional revenue streams other than just the commission, this is mind-blowing. However, with that, having gone through that and that being my story and my journey, I realized there's a whole bunch of people like me who not only this is going to click for once they see it, but who are equally as blind as I was and thinking, well, you sell a house, you get commission. There's nothing more to this business. That's false. There's a lot more to this industry. There's a lot more to this business. And again, a company like EXP is changing the way we're being compensated. It's changing the way we're doing business, because I think you're an incredible example of this. You're a dual licensed agent and you have one cap. How powerful is that? How many fellow agents do we have like yourself who are licensed in multiple states and they're paying multiple caps to multiple brokerages, offices? So I think even just something like that, it's so agent focused. The value is, and again, when you take such good care of your agent, we're going to take really, really good care of our clients. So therefore, the reputation, the brand itself, it's going to continue to grow. And back to attracting quality people. I think we're going to continue to bring more and more quality people to this company, and it's just going to snowball. And again, Mr. who's in Mark Willis coming over, making a pledge to get us to 500,000 agents. I think that's a pretty good indicator as to what we have in store for the future. And for those of us who are already a part of this thing, I mean, I think we're just in great position to kind of help this wave of people who is coming. So whether you and I do anything about it or not, I think these agents are going to come regardless. And if we, put ourselves out there and share some of this information with them, I think we can benefit greatly just because the way this thing is set up.
Sure. Well, this has been so awesome. And Hristo, I mean, my team has loved getting to know you and your sister. And I just know that we are so excited to watch what you do with your career and all the big things that you're going to make happen. And it's just weird. Like we just happened to sit by each other at a conference. We didn't even know who each other was. And now we get to be a part of each other's business and encourage each other. And that's just my thing. I love that stuff. So thank you so much for giving me your time. I know you're very busy and your time is very valuable, but I really appreciate you taking the time with me and answering my questions.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. And I agree. Again, back to how awesome our collaboration is over here at EXP. It's just this global movement. But definitely, I appreciate the time. Thank you for having me, and look forward to working with you, continuing to build. And I don't know if you can hear, that's my dog. She's getting yeah. No, it's feeding time. It's feeding time. So right on cue, she's starting to get a little vocal.
Okay. Well, we will stop our recording and go from there.